Excel is the most widely used office software in the workplace, with a large number of Excelmen in various industries using it to draw tables and perform calculations. However, Excel is not perfect either. Its automatic processing ability is relatively weak, and its formula calculation is not strong enough, resulting in many things that can only be done manually. Working overtime using Excel is also a common practice for many Excelmen. For example, splitting one sheet into multiple sheets by a certain column. This requires constant repetition, adding sheets, copying and pasting, and so on, until your hands are cramped. For another example, merging 100 Excel files into one large file, constantly opening and copying and pasting them, is still exhausting, and filling in the file name in the cell is also a more troublesome task of copying and pasting. If you have bad luck and encounter a crash without saving it, it will really break you down.
If only this mechanical labor could be processed automatically.
No problem, as long as you are good at programming. These are so easy.
What should I learn then? VBA is the programming language that comes with Excel, which is like a biological son. Is that it?
Oh no. VBA is too basic and has weak support for table data. Even simple tasks require writing large sections of code. The so-called table data refers to the row-by-row data in an Excel table, commonly known as structured data, which is the most common data in the workplace.
How about Python, which is shouted by all the training classes on the street?
Python has decent support for structured data, but you just cannot master it. The reason is a long story. The most common used table object in Python is actually a matrix. You need to wrap your thinking around matrices to solve the problem. Python provides a lot of similar tables, each with its own adaptation scenarios and calculation rules, and the conversion between them is particularly smooth. If you are not careful, you will calculate out something that you don't recognize. As a result, programming basically relies on Googling, and even you get the answer, you don't know why. You will have to Google again next time. Python processing of table data requires a third-party package, and the installation is a bit professional. Debugging Python is also very complicated, basically still using the print method. These issues can be addressed through another video.
What about SQL commonly used by professionals?
It is even more useless. Install the database in advance, which will block 90% of non-professionals. Before calculation, it is necessary to import them into the database, and then export them out of the database after calculation, which is both troublesome and professional. The language ability is also not complete, and loop and judgment requires the use of more professional stored procedures. The code is so complex that even professionals cannot understand it.
This doesn't work. That doesn't work. What else is there?
There is esProc Desktop. Its SPL may be the only programming language suitable for people in the workplace. The earlier task, splitting one sheet into multiple sheets by a certain column. SPL only requires 3 lines. Simplify it into 1 line is also possible. The merge issue is not a problem at all. It is also only 3 lines. The different order of columns is also very simple. It's not a problem to remove duplicate data. Unlike traditional textual code, SPL code is written in an Excel-like grid, and the programming process is very intuitive, which can greatly reduce the entry barrier for people in the workplace. A cell name is a natural variable name that intuitively references previous calculation results without the need to define variables. Click on the cell to view the calculation result of that cell on the right. Especially suitable for step-by-step calculations. Grid indentation can also visually represent code scope, such as loops and judgments. Programming errors are inevitable, and debugging takes up most of the development workload. SPL supports complete debugging functions, including setting breakpoints, step-in, skipping, and other functions. During debugging, intermediate calculation results can be directly displayed in a table format. SPL also has auxiliary debugging functions such as variable monitoring and exception checking. SPL has perfect programming capabilities. Its code is much less than VBA, and difficulty is far lower than Python. SPL not only makes the code simple and easy to use, but also makes installation much more convenient than Python. One-click installation. Graphical guidance. No configuration. There are many tedious batch table processing problems in the workplace that can be easily solved using SPL. There is also a challenging task in Excel, such as splitting the text of a column by separator, and copying the contents of cells in the same row. The function of splitting text in Excel is insufficient, making this task difficult to handle. Using SPL is simple, but before calculating, you need to read the Excel file, and after calculation, you also need to fill in the results, which is quite troublesome. Don't worry, esProc also provide an Excel plugin that allows you to write SPL code directly in Excel cells, making it easy to solve difficult calculations in Excel. Find a blank cell, such as A6, enter the formula in the cell and press enter. The calculation results can be obtained immediately. Isn't it very intuitive and simple? The SPL plugin calculation result will be automatically extended. For example, when entering a formula in A6, the calculation result will be automatically extended to E14. Let's take another difficult task in Excel. Find the products that make it to the top 10 every month. This actually involves finding the intersection of several columns of data, and Excel does not directly provide relevant functions. The tedious manual operation process can really drive people crazy. Using the SPL plugin is much simpler. SPL plugins can add features that Excel lacks, provide new features for old versions of Excel, strengthen commonly used functions in Excel, solve problems after data grouping, and so on. In short, it is particularly suitable for Excelmen who are familiar with Excel. In the workplace, there are still many calculations that are difficult to handle in Excel, which originally require manual operation and are time-consuming and laborious. Using SPL plugins to make up for the shortcomings of Excel can easily solve these problems with just one line. SPL supports table data, is simple and easy to use, has convenient installation and configuration, and can efficiently achieve automatic processing of batch tables. The SPL plugin can directly write SPL code into Excel formulas, easily solving difficult calculations in Excel. Excelmen who are troubled by Excel problems, go download the esProc desktop now. Let it solve your problems and leave work early.